Most of Week 7 is in the books, and it started back on Thursday with a great game between the Jags and Saints. Jacksonville improved to 5-2 on the year, and their last 4 games in particular have been impressive as they won 2 games in London, then came home to beat a division opponent, then won on a short week. And that is a lot easier said than done, especially from the traveling part and getting the body adjusted and everything along these lines. Travis Etienne is a touchdown machine, and sure, the Jags may not have the most explosive players, like the Tyreek Hills of the world, but they're going to get the job done more often than not, and they're going to make noise in the AFC. They play Pittsburgh in Week 8, and there's a real chance they're 6-2 through 8 games. For non-Saints fans, the ending of this game was extremely frustrating, and with a weapon like Taysom Hill, I don't understand Pete Carmichael's play calling with the game on the line. Why not give Taysom a chance? There was a minute left, and they're in the red zone, so it's not like time was a problem if they didn't get in the end zone initially. Saints fans are frustrated with Carmichael week in and week out, and this time it was in front of a national audience. Pete needs to go. And on to Sunday we go to discuss Raiders-Bears and ultimately the first win of Tyson Bagent's career. For the Raiders, guys, this is simple. An 18-point loss on the road to a Division II rookie quarterback whose last start was against the Colorado School of Mines. That's how you performed with a chance to improve to 4-3 through 7 games, and that's how the Josh McDaniels era has went. They said before the game they were simply not going to trade Davante Adams, but this is as close to as bad as an organization can get. Yes, they're 3-4, and in theory they're not done, but we know they are. They're not going anywhere. Fire Josh McDaniels and get it over with. And for the Bears and Agent Bagent, this was Chicago's first win at Soldier Field in over a year. I know there will be fans to say to lose for Caleb or Marvin or whoever, but the fans deserve this win. And Tyson looked pretty good in this win too. He was quick and decisive, which is something we have not seen from a Bears quarterback in, well, a while, and the Bears are now 2-5 on the year. There should be no rush to bring Justin Fields back. Tyson probably is not the long-term answer, but again, there should be no rush to bring Justin back. Let him heal. Down to Tampa to recap Falcons Bucks, and this was about as ugly of a win as you're ever going to find. Atlanta is 4-3 through 7 games, and their next 3 games are in Tennessee, home against Minnesota, and at Arizona, so guys, there is a real chance they can be 7-3 through 10 games. But I cannot emphasize this enough. Desmond Ridder is not the answer, and Desmond did nearly everything he could in this game to lose this game for Atlanta. For the Falcons to win this game, despite losing the turnover battle and committing 2 red zone turnovers, is a rare feat in itself. For Tampa, this is the exact type of loss that can't happen if they have intentions of winning the division. Their run game is abysmal, and this is a huge problem as outside of one 31-yard run by Baker Mayfield, they had just 42 rushing yards on 19 attempts. Todd Bowles also doesn't coach to win, and this is another team that I think needs a head coaching change. They are way too conservative, and through 6 games, they have just 103 points and are averaging just 17.1 per contest. Change is needed in Tampa, and remember, this game should not have been close. Commanders-Giants is up, and my biggest takeaway with the Commanders is one I've thought for a few weeks now, but you never know which team is going to show up, and that's a problem. You can get the team that takes the Eagles to overtime and nearly wins, or you can get the team that loses to Buffalo by 34 points, or you can get a team that puts up just 7 points on the road and loses 14-7 against a backup quarterback, with a chance to improve to 4-3 and stay in the hunt. I think the takeaway for Washington is simple. You're never going to win with this management group. The sooner they clean the house, the better. They're competitive at their best and amongst the bottom 2 or 3 teams at their worst. For New York, this was an ugly win, but a win is a win, and yes, they're 2-5, but they can be 4-5 pretty quickly as their next 2 games are against the Jets and Raiders. It was good to see Darren Waller finally involved in the offense and Jalen Hyatt on the 2 big plays for that matter too. Get your playmakers the football. This is not a season-altering win, but the Giants can win their next few games and remain in the hunt. And before we continue, I have partnered with DraftKings, an official partner of the NFL. And I want to let you guys know that new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. And yes, you heard that right, and what an opportunity, by the way, as new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings customers can also get some skin in the game with some same-game parlays, which means you can combine multiple bets from the same game for a shot at an even bigger payout. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, that's no problem because you can still get on the action with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports. I mean, guys, you're already going to be watching the game, so why not spice it up and give it a shot? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use my promo code analysis to bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. And once again, that's promo code analysis, and a big thank you to DraftKings, an official partner of the NFL, for sponsoring today's video. Colts Browns time, and the Browns dominated this game and steamrolled the Colts, and don't let some little call at the end lead you to believe anything else. And I am completely kidding, and Colts fans, I feel sorry for you guys, truly. Indy had over 450 yards of offense and put up 38 points on the best defense in the league, or one of the best defenses in the league, and this was with a backup quarterback. I know AR being done for the year obviously stinks, but I really love the future of this team. Josh Downs and Michael Pittman are legit, and there is reason to believe in this team when they're healthy and when they have another offseason to improve the roster. For Cleveland, this is pretty textbook of a win is a win, but the quarterback situation is not good, and I thought that before the Deshaun Watson injury. I do think Myles Garrett is so good to the point that he's underrated because what he does every week is truly insane. He is in the best player in the league conversation and is an absolute game wrecker. Cleveland is 4-2, and if they can get improved quarterback play, they can be a problem in the AFC, but an ugly win is always better than a sexy loss. Cardinals Seahawks is up, and this was a very Cardinals Seahawks game. There wasn't a whole lot of offense, there were opportunities for both teams to win, several times by the way, and Seattle ended up winning 20-10. For the Seahawks, they took care of business against a team that will probably be selecting in the top 5 of the 2024 draft, despite turning the ball over 3 times to Arizona 0. I think Seattle can contend with the best of the best in the NFC, and I think they will be a problem later this year for the serious contenders in the NFC, but if and only if they clean the offense up. That has to be fixed, as 33 points in 2 games off the bye is not going to cut it. For the Cardinals, the tank is here. They're not going to openly say that, of course, but once you give NFL coaches a few games to figure a team like this out, they, not surprisingly, will. Arizona is 1-6 on the year, and they play the Ravens in Week 8 and the Browns in Week 9, and I would be pretty surprised if they're not 1-8 through 9 games. But that's okay because they have plenty of draft capital to acquire better players over the next few years. They will finish with a top 5 pick, and that's okay. Down to LA to discuss Steelers-Rams, and somehow, someway, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-2. When the Steelers win in 2023, it's close and it's hard-fought victories, and when they lose, they're blowouts, as they have 2 20-plus point losses on the year so far. But TJ Watt is TJ Watt, and he is one of the best players in the world, and there's times where we don't realize the era we're living in until it's too late, but watching TJ and Miles every Sunday, coming from the same draft class and playing in the same division, is a very fun time in the NFL. The Steelers play like a bad team through the first 3 quarters, then come alive in the 4th and pull a rabbit out of their hat and get a win. It's insane how they do this, and this isn't just a one-time thing, it's seemingly week after week after week. But for the Rams, I understand the frustration, and I understand why losing this game in the manner you did is awful. For anyone who didn't watch this game, the Rams didn't have any timeouts, and Kenny Pickett was, well, some would say clearly short of a first down, yet the refs gave him the first down, and because it was outside of the 2-minute warning, with the Rams having no timeouts, LA could not challenge this spot. Brett Maher also went 1 of 3 in this game, and games like this are why I am a believer in paying kickers. With how the sequence unfolded, this was a brutal loss for the Los Angeles Rams. The Denver Broncos improved to 2-5 on the year with a 19-17 win over the Packers, and for Green Bay, this was always going to be a rebuild or retool year, but has all the makings of a long season. They're 2-4 now, and their only wins are over the Bears and over the Saints, who lost their starting quarterback midway through the game when these teams played. This was a game coming off the bye in which they were shut out in the first half with a score of 9-0, and this is not a good team. Their weapons aren't good, Jordan Love hasn't played good, and they're in a very weird situation because you would think the obvious answer would be to completely rebuild, but do you think guys like Jair Alexander want to go through that? Their last 2 games are losses to the Raiders and Broncos. Not the Chiefs and Ravens, but the Raiders and Broncos. They're not a good team, and it shows week in and week out. For Denver, I will always say to celebrate a win when your team wins, but this isn't a season-altering win where we're going to run the table or anything like that. I know some Broncos fans will say they wish they lost this game because of the draft implications, and I understand where they're coming from, but I would be hesitant to bring back a coach that finished his first year with a 1-16 record had they lost this game and every other game ensuing. So enjoy the win and worry about the draft next week, because you're playing Kansas City again, and you can worry about the draft order after that game. And speaking of the Chiefs, it's Chargers-Chiefs time. And for LA, guys, I don't know what the next move is. I mean, that's of course aside from firing Brandon Staley. But after that, I don't know. You lost to Big Brother for the 16th time in the last 19 games, and you were shut out in the second half. I don't think any Chargers fans were surprised by this result, and you gave up nearly 500 yards of offense to a team you had circled as an important game since the schedule dropped in April. And hell, even before that, because it's not like the Chiefs went anywhere. And this is the best you can do. A 14-point loss on the road while giving up 424 yards and 4 passing touchdowns to Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert has also not played great the past few games, and the only thing I would recommend at this point is to have Kellen Moore take over as the head coach and hope for the best, because this team is done. Brandon Staley should have been fired 9 months ago, and this team is playing like a team that knows its coach should be gone. For Kansas City, you took care of business, and Travis Kelce had a 12-catch, 179-yard performance, and this was Big Brother, yet again, showing Little Brother they're not on their level. KC had an ugly Week 6 win over Denver, but they were more than ready for the Chargers in Week 7, and their defense is playing at a very high level. And when you combine Mahomes being on with a great defense, well, a 14-point win is the result you should expect. Bills-Patriots is up, and my biggest takeaway from this game is the Bills are not close to a Super Bowl contender, and it's extremely unfortunate. I think this is a classic case of peaking a few years ago and not winning at your peak, which happens, as there's a reason it's extremely difficult to win a Super Bowl. Buffalo had a chance to be 5-2 against a team they should have beat, and they failed to do so. And there's a big difference between 5-2 and 4-3, especially with the Dolphins in this division. You have to win games like this, and it is time to start looking around at what the problem is in Buffalo, because this team is miles away from winning a Super Bowl. For New England, I have counted this team out all year, and I want to credit the hell out of them for coming to play in this game, and I especially want to credit Mac Jones, who arguably played the best game of his career. Bill got his 300th win over the Bills, and this looked like a classic Bill Belichick Patriots win. I'm not getting into the are they back or any of that, but a big congratulations to the Patriots on beating Buffalo. Lions-Ravens time, and people in Michigan watched the same game 2 days in a row, except the Ravens were Michigan on Sunday and the Lions were Michigan State. This was a game where the Lions could step up and show the country, hey, we're here and we're legit. And they got embarrassed by 32 points. And now it's the same old Lions, and they're a joke, and they'll never compete because they're the same old Lions and everything in between. It's going to take some time to earn the trust back because I've been extremely high on the Lions over the past 2 years, and just when I thought they could throw their weight around with the big dogs, they got sent back to Michigan with their tail between their legs. For Baltimore, they are a Super Bowl caliber team, and this game showed it. When they play their game and not drop 7 passes in Pittsburgh or beat themselves against the Colts, they are legit. They are here, and if you're not taking the Ravens serious or don't think they can compete with anybody, well, refer to this game. Lamar Jackson is playing at an MVP level. I hope you enjoyed the recap, and if you did, please like and subscribe, as only about 25% of people watching are subscribed, and it makes a big difference. And until next time, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.